Bellingwood Vignettes by Diane Muir. Book 13, Vignette number 2, A Handshake Deal. "Careful!" Camille yelped. It didn't do any good. She and Elise tumbled to the floor, books, purses, and backpacks flying everywhere. "I am so sorry," Elise said. "I wasn't paying any attention to where I was walking." Camille grinned. That was obvious. She pulled her leg out from under Elise, stood up, and reached down to give her neighbor a hand. "What has you so engrossed?" "Some of my students are asking deep questions about the new information regarding gravitational waves, and I was just looking through the study." "Oh," Camille said, nodding slowly. "That's cool?" Elise looked up from pushing books back into her bag, surprise on her face. "It's amazing. Einstein predicted it 100 years ago, and this information proves his general theory of relativity." She sat back down on the floor to rearrange papers that had spilled out of a folder. "We are living in an amazing time of information right now. Anything is possible. Now we know that black holes really exist." "And this is important," Camille said. Shock overcame surprise, and Elise opened her mouth to speak, only to see Camille's eyes lit with laughter. "You're teasing me." "A little bit, but it's cool that you know how all of this works." "I'd give anything to work on one of those teams," Elise said breathlessly. "So many brilliant minds all in one place. And they probably need someone around to make sure they eat and take showers." Camille put her hand out and helped Elise stand up again. "Yeah, sometimes I need that too," Elise said. She looked around the floor to see if she'd missed anything. Camille bent over, picked up a pencil, and put it in Elise's hand. "I think you have everything now." "Are you going up to Sweet Beans?" Elise asked. "Yes, I didn't have to open this morning. It was nice to sleep in." "Do you want a ride?" Elise stepped back. "I'm sorry. I don't want to intrude on your morning walk. I shouldn't have asked." "No, that was very nice. I'd love to ride up with you. How do you like living in Bellingwood?" "I love this little town." "I didn't think I would," Elise said. "Why's that?" "I thought everybody would always want me to do things. I'm really a hermit, you know. I don't like being with a lot of people. My parents tell me that I should get out in public more often, but it makes me sick to my stomach." Camille pressed the button for the elevator. "You do fine with me and Polly." "That's because I know you." They walked outside to Elise's car, which was covered in snow from the storm the previous night. "I really need to find a place with a garage," Elise said, brushing aside the snow. She took out the snow scraper, pushed snow off the back window, and walked around to Camille's side. "Actually, I need to get my own place. Polly's been really good about this. She doesn't charge me nearly enough, but I'm starting to miss having my things around me." Camille stopped Elise with her hand. "Are you serious about moving?" "Well, it has to happen sometime. I can't keep doing what I've been doing. Ignoring it won't fix the problem. It isn't like the perfect house is going to jump out at me and invite me to move in." She brushed off the windshield on the passenger side, walked around the front of the car, cleared the lights, and then ended up back in front of the driver's side door. "Why do you ask?" "Do you have time to take a ride before going up to Sweet Beans?" Camille asked. "How far?" Elise brushed the rest of the snow off and banged the brush on her tire to clear it. "Just down the road past the hotel. I want to show you something." "Sure. Are you looking at a house?" Camille nodded. "I am. But I can't afford it by myself. Well, I can, but I won't be able to do anything else." She opened her mouth to say something more, then stopped. "I just want you to see it." Elise put the brush behind her seat and got in, turned the car on, and rubbed her hands together to warm them up as she waited for Camille to put her seatbelt on. "It will warm up in just a minute. Now, why do you want me to see it?" "Because if you moved in with me—" "No, just look at it before we say any more," Camille said. She directed Elise down the road, and they turned south on the street beside the hotel. Another block, and Camille pointed to a small white home with a "for sale" sign in the front yard. "That's it. What do you think?" "It's wonderful!" Elise cried. "Pull into the driveway," Camille said. "See, there are even 2 garages." Elise pulled in, stopped and parked, then turned her car off. "Is there enough room for 2 people?" She looked at the ignition and turned the car back on. It was too cold not to. Absolutely. There are 2 big bedrooms upstairs. One has a bathroom attached, and the other one would have to use the bath in the hallway. The kitchen isn't too big, but it's open to the dining room, and this is the living room across the front here. Elise nodded, trying to take it in. Camille pointed again. The basement is finished. It has 2 rooms and a bathroom downstairs. We could figure out exactly how we wanted to do this. We could turn those into offices, or you could have the basement rooms and I'd live upstairs, or whatever. There's a lot of living space in that little house. If I took the basement, I could hide, Elise said. Sure, Camille replied. You'd never have to see me unless you came up to use the kitchen. It's been so long since I cooked anything, I'm not sure if I even could, Elise said with a smile. I usually just eat what's around. Well, I miss cooking, Camille said. I'd love to have someone eat my food. Elise leaned against the driver's door and looked at the woman in her passenger seat. Are you sure about this? I'm kind of weird. Camille grinned. I have a huge family. There's a whole lot of weird with them. You and I have been getting to know each other since you moved in. We both want to move out of Sycamore House, but neither of us wants to live in an apartment. What if it doesn't work out? We'll talk about things when they come up. Elise rolled her eyes. I'm bad at that. I don't talk. I do. About everything, Camille said. It comes from being the oldest in a big family. It would be wonderful to have all of my things in one place again. Half of my books are still in storage. Elise chuckled. I haven't even really moved into my office at work. Everything is so unsettled right now. And what do you think? Elise looked longingly at the little home. I'm more worried about what you're going to think after living with me for a while. Are you messy? Camille asked. Elise shook her head. Do you pay your bills on time? If I don't, Elise said, it's only because I forgot. This is what I'm talking about. I get distracted by my work and I lose touch with reality. Then we'll come up with a plan so you're taken care of. Do you have loud parties? Elise just laughed. Every single night, sometimes until 5 o'clock the next morning. I won't have to worry about men sneaking in and out of the basement? Not right now, Elise said. But if there is a man, I can guarantee we won't be sneaking around. I'll be shouting it from the housetops. She looked down. That won't ever happen, though. I can barely have conversations with normal people, much less a man. We're having a conversation right now, Camille said quietly. But you're easy to talk to. She looked at Camille. Oh, I see. It's going to take practice. But I hate to make you put up with my practicing, Elise said. I don't want to drive you batty. How about we don't worry about those things today? I'll call the realtor and set up a time so you can look at the house too. I trust you, Elise said, and it's your house. But you're going to make it possible for me to buy it and still have a life, Camille replied. Let's go up to Sweet Beans and have some caffeine to jumpstart our day, and then we'll figure out when we can both look at the house. Are you ready to try this with me? Elise backed out of the driveway and headed for downtown Bellingwood. My parents will never believe it when I tell them. Why not? They worry about me. She grinned. I can't wait for you to meet my cousins. They'll come down to help me move my things in. You'll like them. And my family, Camille said. I should take you back to Omaha some weekend so you can meet my parents. Mama won't know what to do with you. Why's that? Because she'll want to take care of you, and then you'll say something really brilliant and intimidate her all at the same time. Camille chuckled. Huh. If you live downstairs, that means Mama will think the upstairs bedroom is available to her. I might have to get another roommate. Elise turned to look at her after she pulled into a parking space. Another roommate? Huh. Wait until you meet Mama. You'll see why I don't want her coming over to spend a month with us. Camille poked Elise's arm. Maybe you should act really weird and scare her a little so she stays away. Are you serious? Camille smiled. No. She'll do whatever she wants. She's a wonderful woman and I love her. Are we really going to do this? Elise asked. I can't see why not. Camille put her hand out and Elise shook it. There. It's a handshake deal. I think those are as solid as any contract. Shall we have some coffee to toast the deal? Elise nodded. It's on me.